All right. All right. Perfect. Tucker, you said you are a Trump supporter, right?
Yeah, I voted Trump. I mean, I agree with more
Okay.
Tucker than Trump, but obviously, given my
Tucker
profile.
Carlson.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in that Tucker, like Candace, Dave
So
Smith, Nick Fuentes camp.
before we get started, serious question, because like I said this to another Trump supporter, and I actually think this is a thing, and I've been hearing this, people floating it around, and I think it could be a thing. Um, do you think Tucker Carlson is going to get propped up as the next candidate for the GOP?
I don't think he'd do it. No, that's a long
Really?
shot.
Like I've heard that,
That's
and I'm telling you,
they're
like
floating
it wouldn't shock
MTG's
me.
name, and I think that'd be. I don't even believe
No,
that.
no.
Well, yeah,
All
Tucker.
right.
He always has like that 2% chance on all the betting markets, so I
I'm
wouldn't.
telling
I
you, like
doubt
I
it.
wouldn't be surprised if he threw his
Especially after
hat
all
in
his
the ring.
comments on Israel, he's not going to be president.
Well, I mean,
No
I think
shot.
that's even more. So. Anyway, listen, we're not here to talk about Tucker Carlson. All right, perfect. Real quick, would you mind if I give you a quick introduction to who I am and what this is?
Sure.
Perfect. 1 second.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters. If you are a Trump supporter, get in the box. If you're someone that supports Donald Jimothy Trump, get in the box. We're only looking for some debates, guys. Please do not request up if you're not a Trump supporter. We're not talking to friendlies. We're only looking for some debates. But if you're friendly, do all the wonderful things. All right, tap the screen, share the live. Go ahead and get the likes up as well. Let's get the likes up to 50,000 likes. Also, let's get the shares up. And if you don't mind, can we keep knocking the daily gift goal out? If we knock that out a couple of times, it'll push us out to the FYP so we can get more people in for some debates. We have Tucker here. And Tucker, I would like to play a quick game, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thanks for playing that song. That was like holy nostalgia. I haven't heard that in like a decade. Back when like Little League World Series, football games.
Yeah.
It's been probably 10 years since I heard that song.
Tucker, help me figure out where's the lie, right? Because I think MAGA, I think you guys are you guys are kind of unique in a couple of different things, right? I think you guys are the party of violence. Hate is required to be a part of MAGA. You're the guardians of the PDF files. The economy is trash, and now Trump's poll numbers are in the toilet. So, where's the lie?
Let's just knock them off one by one. Party of violence. I think that's probably your weakest one. Hate required. The hate, honestly, yeah, it's ramping up for sure. Guardians of the PDF files. Not going to argue that. It's obviously true. Trash economy. Yeah, pretty much. Poll numbers stink. Yeah, it's all pretty much all true except for the violence part. I think.
Okay, let's dig into it.
For the most part are like pussies.
Would you like for me to tell you why I say MAGA is a party of violence, or would you like to start by telling me why you guys are not?
I'd like to guess. I think you're gonna say like ICE raids and the occupation of like the cities by the National Guards, like violence.
That's good. That's a good one. I haven't talked about that at all. I mean, yes. Well, I mean, like I haven't used that as the specific direct answer, but yeah, I mean that's true. But no, that's not it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's not it then. I got nothing.
Yeah. So what it is the party is spearheaded by someone who absolutely leans into violence, right? I mean, the president of the United States has called for the unalivement of Congress members on the Democratic side, while at the same time vilifying people, American citizens, right, in multiple different ways. And then also inciting violence by saying that, he's the president of peace, but at the same time, actively engaging in acts of war, whether we talk about Venezuela or we talk about what Trump is doing to embolden warmongers across the globe. Okay. So
yeah, I guess like the Venezuela boats, like you don't think you need Congress approval?
Feel about that? What do you think about that one?
It's definitely aggressive. I think it's setting. I think that's more messaging to like Iran, saying that like we're willing to like offensively strike you. Like,
well, but see, the issue with that is
it's also like, trying to.
Did you know that we have 10,000 troops in the the sea? I can't remember what's right off the top of my head the name of the sea, but the sea closest to Venezuela And even today, Donald Trump has officially closed down airspace over Venezuela. He's posturing for war.
Yeah, the whole Maduro thing. That is interesting. It's I usually am against war, but that one, there are actually arguments you can make, unlike the Israel thing or like the war on terror. There are arguments that it's like, yeah, Maduro should be under our sphere of influence and not the Chinese. It's like, yeah, I guess Monroe Doctrine and everything.
But
like there are smart people who would like say that is true. Yeah, what's that?
Like, I don't know. Did you hear about the agreement that Maduro tried to present to Trump and Rubio, and they turned it down?
I don't think. Yeah, they didn't disable the infrastructure for the communications.
No. What they agreed to do to help establish peace with the United States is they offered a controlling stake in almost all of their natural resources, gold, minerals, even oil. They offered the United States controlling interest in all of that, and they offered to completely cut ties with both China and Russia if the United States would actually say, hey, we're not going to go to war. And Trump and Rubio said, nope, not going to do that.
Yeah, Rubio I'm not a fan of him. I think he's got like this weird grudge with communism because he's from Cuba. And I think he is, he does scare me. Yeah. Not a fan, but it is interesting.
What do you think about them turning that down?
Did they guarantee that they were going to disable all the dual use communication systems for the civilian telecoms?
I'm not sure about that one. I don't know.
I think that was one of the big sticking points. That was one of the big sticking points is the dual telecom dishes that the Chinese can also tap into.
But see, they were cutting all ties with China as well, though. But like, that being said, right? You do understand, like, this has been occurring since Trump's first administration. Like, he's been calling for a regime change in Venezuela since his first term.
Yeah, I mean, Maduro, he should be under our influence, honestly. Like, Rubio's running foreign policy.
That's why I say that.
Yeah, but like, who's Trump's top advisor on foreign policy? Like, that's Rubio.
I mean, I agree with that. I agree. I mean, I think that Rubio is not trying to fanning the flames, but it's not like he put the battery in Trump's back. Like, again, this was already there.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because, like, let's say you do engage in that, you are stretching yourselves kind of thin with Venezuela all at the same time. Like, would be better for Venezuela. But I guess we're just going to have to see where it goes. I mean, that is an interesting one.
What do you think about Donald Trump actually calling for the unalivement of Congress members?
Oh, I mean, a lot of the Trump people will just say that's like one of like a Trump, like what a Trump comments and doesn't end up doing anything. And like historically, that is true. So yeah, I don't really have an issue with that. I know people on the left
even with that, I will give you, like, what you're saying is accurate, right? But that's something that's inciting violence. Especially when you talk about like an actual climate where political violence has continued to be rampant, right? We talk about like Democratic lawmakers who have lost their lives, attacks on Paul Pelosi, Charlie Kirk losing his life. Like, there's been a rampant uptick in political violence and people adjacent to political politics. And then you have the head of a political party, the head of state, actually saying that, like, not only is it treason, but it's seditious behavior that's punishable by unalivement. And then actually retweeting a neo-Nazi who said, to hang him.
Oh, that was just some guy on his True Social. I did see that. He was an anonymous account, though, right? It's not like a real person.
Yeah, but still, like,
okay,
this is the president of the United States. Like, you can't do stuff like that.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's not something I would do, but he did. So I guess he can.
but like morally and ethically, right? Shouldn't we expect more?
He had an issue with the lawmakers trying to Well, I honestly didn't even read it because I didn't think it was important. What was the action that the Democratic lawmakers? It was either like withholding from a vote or not showing up to a assembly or something.
They
what was this
told
over?
they made a video. They put out a video reminding, and this was
Okay,
all
I got it. Yep. They said
all
the
former
oath.
military and
Yep.
and like intelligence members saying like,
Gotcha.
hey, your oath says that you have the ability to disobey unlawful orders.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is you could argue that's incitement, like on both sides. It's like, I don't know.
You think so? So reminding them that they took an oath to ensure that they don't abide by unlawful orders is inciting violence.
Well, it's like you got to understand the context. It's like they're saying that like everything Trump's doing is unconstitutional. So they're saying like if like for example, like if these guards in DC were to just like abandon their post, like and a Democratic lawmaker were to incite that, like yeah, that's a fucking problem.
I agree, but that's not what they told him. Like, and see, this is the point, right? If
Well, no, they
were
said it's
sitting here
unconstitutional, and some people argue that deploying states from Chicago to DC is unconstitutional. Do you disagree?
yeah, I mean, I think the
And then
courts
so
have
that
made
is directly, I mean, is almost indirectly telling them to get up and leave.
No. Because what happens is this is adjudicated in the court of law, right? And we can talk about that specifically, like the deployment and them actually disregarding the deployment orders. But like, there's other orders that's possible. And I think the biggest thing that because watching the video, like they never explicitly said this, that, or the third. It was just a reminder of the oath and that you have to ensure that you're upholding the oath. I think that's a big problem when you talk about like people who blindly follow Donald Trump, people that's a part of Maga who are willing to like overturn the Constitution for him, right? Like yesterday, Donald Trump tweeted out or truth out, whatever you want to call that shit, but talked about how he put out the Trump 2028 thing, right? Blatantly in the face of the Constitution. And whether you guys like to say, oh, it's a joke or not or whatever, like there are people who are on that side of the aisle who stand behind him and say like, hey, I want to vote for him again. I want him back in, as president in 2028. And like people will take that to heart. And so the point is like, hey, understanding that, there's people who go to the extremes and there's a reminder like, hey, these things are not acceptable, and accepting unlawful orders is not something you want to do. You took an oath to the Constitution, not to a man.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of these things are just like, it's like whether it like passes your level of like unacceptable. All right. It's like some people think saying running for a third term is like a joke and funny, and some people say it's like a blatant constitutional crisis. And it's like,
Well, Tucker, what's
like, I think it's just like a dim agreement.
Unacceptable then, because you seem like you seem kind of reasonable, and at least in our conversation. But two, you seem like you have a pretty low threshold as far as like the things that set off your radar. So I'm a little bit confused. Like, what is unacceptable for you?
I mean, like I think politics has become so. Identity politics has been shoved to the forefront. So for me, it's like if you're not coming after my group or like coming after my family, it's like I don't really have an issue because everyone's so crazy. It's like,
what about them going after other groups and other families?
Yeah, I mean, some people would say that it's like it's not affecting you. It's none of my business, right? And like a lot of these families. A lot of these families, I mean, I don't think they are going after families unless they're undocumented immigrants. Are they undocumented immigrants? Then, I mean, you should arguably be going after those families.
Not only undocumented immigrants, right, but they're violating the constitutional rights of them, but then also they're actively harming everyday Americans. Did you know that since this Trump administration has started their quote unquote deportation process, there's been 170 United States citizens that have been detained? Versus like previously, I think it's within the last 10, I got to look up this number. I keep saying this within the last 10 years under ICE, there's only been 120 people detained. So
that makes sense.
This administration is actively harming everyday Americans.
Well, yeah, obviously when you're doing interior border enforcement and you're doing like such a large dragnet operation, yeah, like you're going to have misfiling visa paperwork. People are going to get caught up who actually have the citizenship. And I just think, that's part of the operation. If you're trying to deport, some people say we have 40 million illegal immigrants. Yeah, people are going to get caught in the dragnet. But does that mean we shouldn't deport anyone ever? I would say no.
Yeah, well, and see, but the thing is like Trump isn't deporting people, right?
Yeah, like, there you go. So that's your best argument, is that it's not happening.
Exactly, he's using them as free slave labor in concentration camps.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't think the detention numbers are very high either. It's not that they're retaining a large amount of them in detention either. It's that just the numbers are low.
Yeah, no. So they are, in the sense of they're detaining them in multiple sites through. And I'm sorry, guys, just the FYI. Yeah, it looks like from 2015. So the 10 years, it is a 10-year period. 10-year period, it looks like there was 121. So from 10-year period there prior to 2025, 121 United States citizens were detained by ICE. Versus within the 10 months of Trump, there's been 100.
Well, you know why that is, right? It's because they weren't doing interior enforcement in the last 10 years. Like 10 years ago, you get 20 miles in, ICE wouldn't even go after you. They wouldn't pursue you. So once you would reach that 20-mile interior border,
it was more effective when they weren't doing that.
I don't know about effective. It's like, if you're going to, if you want mass
numbers,
well, just logistically, if you want to do mass deportations, you have to do a large dragnet all over the country and go to the places where they are.
I mean, like, see, this is the thing. If Trump actually did things the legal way, then he could actually get things done. But also, too,
yeah, I'm critical of the way he's doing it. I think you could
they
should be using AI to go after these people. There's called Verify ID, Real ID, all this stuff. I mean, you can make it so you can go after these people with AI and
use
the FBI.
And plus, Stephen Miller just wants the numbers. Like, he's been open on the record saying that he wants the numbers. So it's not about.
Well, hopefully with this freaking DC event is that's the thing too. When you're trying to deport 30 million or even 10 million or 5 million in a year, it's like, you can't really target. So you have to just do dragnets.
But see, that's not true, because you can talk about the Biden administration.
You think you could do 10 million in 4 years? Yeah, how many did they do in 4 years? Biden let in 11 million in 4 years.
Widely acceptable numbers are less than 10 millions. Right, less than 10 million, and as far as widely acceptable numbers. Over,
I'm sure you can debate the numbers. There are figures out there of 10 million plus, but you say widely accepted. Okay, I don't accept those. I accept the ones that are higher.
Sure. Let me ask you this. Why wouldn't it be more prudent for us to actually do mass amnesty instead of mass deportation?
No, I'm just totally against that ideologically. I think mass amnesty.
I mean, I hear you, but why wouldn't it be more prudent?
Well, because it goes against everything we're trying to do. We're trying to remove them from your country. Mass amnesty would make them here permanently, along with all their children. It'd be terrible.
Exactly. So, like, besides the fact that you don't want them here, right?
That's the whole deportation part.
Exactly. Right. So it's I said the party of hate, but like, my whole thing is, besides them, like, the actual benefits, what actual benefits would the country reap by actually doing mass deportation versus doing mass amnesty? Because I can list multiple benefits that we would receive by engaging in mass amnesty.
Oh, yeah, sure. Your GDP would go up, tax collection would go up. Yeah. Economy, like the corporations would do great. Corporations would make more money. But
not only corporations, like everyday Americans would as well, because this
no, that's actually wrong.
No. Think about it. This undocumented workforce that is working under the table, who's, actually accepting lower wages and quote unquote undercutting everyday Americans. Like, if you actually eliminate that, and you eliminate the corporation's ability to undercut and pay cheaper labor or cheaper labor. I mean, cheaper wages.
You haven't been keeping up with the argument. Our argument is that we don't even care about undocumented work. The worst thing in the world is the legal immigration work, H-1B visas, them undercutting our high-skilled jobs. That's the worst thing in the world. Well, no. So here's the thing. You give those people amnesty, you think they're going to stay low-skilled forever? No, now they're eligible for all the jobs. Absolutely not. That's going to wreck our market. Fuck that.
That pushes the entire country forward.
No, wait, what's a job? How does a job market work? If you have more people in the job market, the wages go down. Corporations do better, but the average employee does terrible in a weak job market. You want a strong job market, so the wages go up.
No, listen.
What do you mean no?
Actually,
what do you mean no? Wait, address that. Address what I just said.
Listen,
Okay.
I am literally, stop for a second. Listen, if you actually incentivize not only a stronger workforce, but you incentivize a workforce that continues to grow and develop, then we can take advantage of certain markets that are untapped. The AI bubble, right, that we're sitting on, this industry that's on the cusp. Like, we can start to develop those lower skill workers and allow them to progress as this additional like technology progress. So you don't.
Good luck selling that to a STEM student.
Today.
I know tons of STEM students. Good luck selling that to that. The STEM students now are getting their plate eaten by these Indian H-1B workers. They're coming here working 60% of the job salary. They'll take it for 60-70%, and then you'll have these liberals say, pull yourself up your bootstraps, bitch. This is what you asked for. I swear to God.
Conservative, this school, this is where the boot. No, that's you guys.
No, they'll throw it back in your face. They'll say an immigrant's beating you in the workforce. That sounds like you need to pull yourself by your bootstraps, white man. You're a mediocre white moderate man. I get that all the time.
Tucker.
When you advocate for young white kids getting jobs in STEM or anything, they call you a mediocre white man and you should pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You can't compete with immigrants.
I hear you.
We don't want to compete with
Tucker,
Indians.
right? The actual issue is that we as a country aren't actually investing in math and science and STEM. Like, that's the big problem. If we actually want to be able to compete with not only these students or people that are coming in our country, but on a global stage, why wouldn't we want to invest in our actual people? Like, why wouldn't we want to invest in our education system? Why wouldn't we want to push this
our
forward?
People, keyword our people, not the rest of the world.
But see, the right isn't doing that.
Yeah, that's why I'm in Tucker's camp. You should watch the podcast episode with Nikki Haley's son or Nick Fuentes, any young conservative. They have all these issues and they're screaming them from the rooftops. Nikki Haley's son had a great episode on this. Nick Fuentes had a great episode on this. Tucker talks about.
Like, my point being is, right, if you give these people amnesty, they actually help support those lower level jobs while people are able to try to work, and everyday Americans look to work and progress and grow. And
well, with AI, it's all going to be automated anyway. You say AI is coming, all the low end jobs are going to be automated anyway. We don't need them, and then they're just going to be here.
That's a problem. That's
wait. So we need them for the AI bubble, but then when AI is going to take all the low end jobs, what are we going to do with them? Just support them forever?
No, listen. The problem is that it's absolutely coming, but we're not getting people prepared for it. That's the problem. Like, literally,
I just don't. Yeah, sure. But your idea of getting people prepared for it is amnesty for possibly 40 million illegals. Our idea of getting ready for it is
undocumented,
banning all H-1B visas and pulling all high-tech laborers except for doctors, nurses, and
if we ban all H-1B visas, like, we don't have the people. That's why we're importing the people. Like, that's wild.
You sound like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. You agree with Vivek Ramaswamy?
Yeah, I do.
Whoa, damn. Yeah, good luck winning an election with that. You should run on that. You guys should run on that.
Tucker, serious question. Do you think that we have the people right now?
350. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Who do you think is better at engineering, coding, AI? People in America or people in India?
I don't think it's a
obviously
matter of
Americans. We have the better education. Well, it doesn't matter who's better. We have better people here who are ready to work.
Tucker, you got to stop talking for a half a second if you want to hear me. It's not about who's better. It's about who's more prepared. I'm not saying that the people that are coming from these other countries are better, but they're more prepared than we are
to work for slave wages.
That's the problem.
They're more prepared to work for slave wages.
You can say that. No, I'm saying they're more prepared as far as being able to actually do the coding, to be the engineers. Because again, we have not invested in any of those things until we actually invest in all of those sectors. Just because it's your friends, this Trump administration this Trump administration is actively dismantling education as a whole. Right? They're making it harder for people to actually gain education while at the same time telling people they don't need education. Like, literally, they're saying that you guys don't need to go to college.
True. But that's not true. But they are saying that. So I agree with some of that.
Which is a
problem. Issue is, well, is it really a problem if they're going to undercut all these high-paying jobs to foreigners for 50% of the rate? And what's the point of going to college if I have to compete with an Indian dude for 50%? You
know what you're missing? They want a plutocracy.
A plutocracy? Mm-hmm. With a B?
Look that up. Let me think a couple.
Plutocracy?
Plutocracy. Yes, they want a plutocracy. Look that up. Let me think a couple
of
people,
Indians?
and then we'll get back to it. No, just look it up and you'll see. You'll see. W's in the chat for Khalees for the $1 donation saying, remember kids, I was just following order does not hold up in a court of law. It does not. And like, that's something that we have to be aware of. Absolutely. W's in the chat for Gray for the $5 donation saying, hold on, I'm still thanking people. W's in the chat for Gray for the $5 donation saying, can you ask Tucker what Nick Fuentes says that he agrees with? It sounds like a lot, but we'll get back to it. W's in the chat for Amanda, who sent a $5 donation saying, thanks for being the voice of reason and someone I listen to daily. Proudly to be a friend. I'm proud of you to be a friend, and thank you so much, Amanda. W's in the chat for Junior, who sent the $1 donation saying mediocre and racist. Don't let him forget racist. Right.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
W's in the chat for Gucci. Gucci sent a $5 donation saying America has quite literally had to import nurses, especially from the Philippines, due to shortages here. Exactly. We don't have the people to fill these jobs, these important jobs.
You didn't hear what I said. I said anyone but nurses.
In the chat for, you got to give me a second. W's in
I
the chat
said
for
not
Coffee
nurses,
Mom.
though.
Sure, you gotta give me. Let me finish.
I said not healthcare, though. You can't make a
Tucker.
Like, you can't
Tucker,
be like,
I'm literally just reading out my messages from the donors. Let me finish thanking them. W's in the chat
like,
for
yeah, he
Coffee
said
Mom for
healthcare.
the. Okay, I'm gonna put you on mute, just because I need to get through this, and then you and I can finish. W's in the chat for Coffee Mom for the $2 donation saying MTG didn't hire protection until she crossed Trump. Exactly. Like, that's a whole thing. And also massive W's in the chat for 1234-Y8Z, who sent a $20 super chat to say, Tucker logic is the same reason why they didn't want black people to have good jobs. Shaking my head. It's called competition. Give them a reason to give you the salary you want. Don't want. Don't cry about someone outperforming you at a lesser salary. Exactly. Guys, W's in the chat for all the donors. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so at Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All the pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. Everything's accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Also, guys, keep tapping the screen. Let's get the likes up to 125,000 likes. Also, can we also knock out the little finger hearts? Can we knock those out, please? Last but not least, if you look up at the top and you see the word follow, you're not following me. This is the backup account. Make sure you follow the backup account, but make sure you follow the main account as well. We're bouncing back and forth between both accounts. And if you want to see these debates, make sure you follow both accounts and you turn on notifications. Thank you, guys. Tucker, going back to what I said and what you were saying and all this other stuff, did you look up plutocracy?
Yeah, it sounds like you agree with me. They're trying to create a slave class of high-skilled workers from India at 60% the wages of Americans.
Nope, you missed it. It's United States citizens. That's why they're trying to do things like lower the age that people can start working. That's why they're trying to increase the age.
Wait, you just agreed with your donor, though. That just said we were mediocre white men and can't compete with H-1B visas from India. Do you agree with that, or yes or no?
I do, but let me finish my point.
Whoa, that's crazy. You should run on that.
Let me finish my point.
So you disagree with Bernie Sanders?
Let me finish my point. Like, again, yeah. Stop it, Tucker. Seriously. Let me finish my point. What they're trying to do is they're actively trying to lower the wage where people can so people can enter the workforce or earlier. They're trying to increase the age so people can actually leave the workforce. Thank you for the cake. As far as retiring, they're also doing things like trying to eliminate labor protections while at the same time removing, access to healthcare, education, all of these other things that allow people to be able to move forward and progress within life. They're literally trying to force the United States citizens into a working class that, and then the actual top 1% rule the government. And even more, they just oversaw the largest transfer in wealth in United States history with the passing of the BBB, which helps accelerate all of this.
To the technocrats, obviously, yeah. And what do the technocrats want? Cheap wages, obviously, for the Indians from the H-1Bs.
You keep saying that
well, let me ask you this, Santana.
Quote-unquote Indians, but it's not about people coming from India. It's literally about United States citizens. It's literally about United States.
Do you know what the average salary of a computer scientist would be if there was no H-1B visa program or any other coders on visas? Do you know the average salary?
I don't, but I would love for you to not only tell me, but tell me where you can actually verify this, because like that's a bold statement for whatever you're about to make.
Wait, I didn't even say it yet. It's a bold statement. So if I said 60,000, that's a bold statement.
No, a bold statement meaning that you know the actual, knowing the actual number if
because
these
I know so many
visas
people
weren't
are
in the-
affected.
Sure, but that sounds like a trust me, bro. Can you give me a source on whatever number you're about to say? Just go for it. Go for it, and then I want a source.
Yeah. So it's anywhere between 120 and 140,000. You think that's ridiculous?
I would like a source.
Well, I'm just asking you. Do you think that's absurd or not?
I would like a source.
You can't even make a judgment. You can't even have a
Sure,
dialogue.
I would
Bro
like
can't
a
even
source.
think.
I
All
would
right,
like a
I'm
source
looking for a
because-
source right now.
Yeah, because if not, you know where you pulled that from?
Me?
You pulled it from
Where'd
the
I pull it
fifis
from?
in your tum-tum. From the
You
fifis
actually
in
think
your
I just
tum-tum.
made that up?
If without a source, the only thing that I have to go on is your fifis.
Okay, what are you going to do if I give you a source? You going to apologize?
I'm going to verify it, and then we can continue the conversation. Why would I apologize?
Because you're saying I just made it up.
No, I said without a source, that's the only conclusion that I have. Because you're insinuating that you know the number if people were not actually in the workforce. So go ahead. Don't worry. I got a couple people. Thank you. W's in the chat, $2 donation saying school and the government literally offer more incentives to international students for STEM degrees, also due to shortages. Yep. And this has been this way since even like I was in college, and I graduated college in 09. A couple of my line brothers were literally from the Caribbeans who took a part of the STEM programs in college, and like today have amazing jobs. And you know, we're really able to capitalize on that. Debbie's in the chat for 123 who sent a super chat to say they cried about all the white traffic controllers being out of work and want to fire all the non-white people to get them a job. Yep. Debbie's in the chat for Betty for the $2 Canadians to say, feel sorry for Tucker girlfriend. He has a hair trigger. Ooh, geez, Louise.
Oh, she got me.
W's
Well, here's the
in
thing. I don't have a source, but I do have the median salary. The median salary is 130.
Hold on. You got to wait until I finish. Massive W's in the chat for Sydney for the $49.99 super chat to say, hey, Santana, hope you're having a wonderful holiday if you choose to celebrate. Just wanted to thank you for all that you do. It's encouraging to hear your voice of reason in such chaotic environment. Thank you for being a voice. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for being here. And thank you for thinking about me. I really appreciate it, guys. Again, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. Best way to support the live. All right, go ahead. Tucker.
Huh? Yeah. So the median salary for computer programmers is 132,000.
No longer want to talk.
Yeah. 132,000 is the median salary. So I was 10 grand off.
Okay, but you said if removing H-1B visa recipients from the workforce, it would be that amount.
Yeah, I don't know. These figures are wrong because I know people who are coders and they're not getting paid that much. Like it's just like it's hard to do projection, like to get a verified projection. Like you're gonna like anything I give you, it's not solid.
Study that would possibly
you're gonna say it's too weak.
No, I mean
because
just
it's just a
anything
projection.
that would actually. Yeah, well, let's take a look. You know, I enjoy forecasting, so like I understand, you know, possibilities, probabilities, you know, all of that good stuff. So, I mean, do you have anything to support your claim?
Just like basic logic that like removing people who are the bottom of the market. So you know how a market is? Like if you remove all the bottom of the market, then the market average would go up.
So Fifi's from your tum-tum. Got it. All right, perfect. So Tucker.
So let's say we had a group. Well, here's a better example. If we had like 15, and like if everyone had 10 diamonds, right? Me and you and everyone in the chat. But there was fucking 100,000 people who only were doing lives. And when they got lives, they were doing lives for 5 diamonds. And now when TikTok gets you on, you're only doing lives for 5 diamonds instead of 10 diamonds or coins or whatever, getting paid per live. You remove all those people, the average price of the live would go up in the market. Boom. You're getting your 10 coins again because all those people who were paying 5 for the streams, those $5 streamers are gone. You only got $10 streamers to go.
Your logic. You know what's the problem with your logic? So this is something that I've learned, right, as far as streaming, right? Just because there is an absence within the market does not mean there's still a demand within the market, right? So just because you remove certain people from a market does not mean that more people are going to flock to those people that are there. I'll give you a great example.
From the bottom
right?
end, no, but from the top end, yeah. So like if
Well,
Ninja
here's a
disappeared,
great
or let's say Dean and Parker disappeared, that audience would flock somewhere.
Well, but no,
that wouldn't just disappear. But if you disappeared, your audience would disperse.
Stop it. That's literally the example that I was just about to give you. Right now, there's about 1.2 thousand people watching here. There's about another, almost 700 people watching over on YouTube. My lives normally range anywhere between like 3,000 to 4,000 people total, right? And that is regardless of whether Dean, Parker, or anyone else is on, right? So the people that, appreciate me. The people that donate to me. And the people that decide to donate to me, they don't just say, oh, I'm going to donate to you. I'm going to donate to someone else because, someone else. Or
you don't know that for sure, though. You don't know that for sure. They may have set limits of weekly donations they have for streamers, and you're part of that wet weekly.
People never sit here and say like, oh, Dean and Parker aren't live today, so I'm going to give you their donation. Like, it doesn't work that way.
That would just be rude, but that may very well would happen. If they disappeared forever, you would eat a large part of their audience and a lot of their donors.
And those are unverifiable factors.
Okay, well, in streaming, that's tricky. But let's say you were like a pencil maker and you made pencils for the pencil factory in your town. And you went to work every day for $10 an hour. And suddenly the pencil factory said, hey, I can hire this guy from New Delhi for $5 an hour. And he had unlimited access to these people from New Delhi and hired them for $5 an hour. Would you say, fuck that guy who's been making pencils for his entire life for $10 an hour because now we have infinite Indians to undercut the American job market? And then what if we take it another step forward?
Like, you Indians, like, it's wild, and you keep saying that. Indian people, please.
Indian individuals, gotcha.
Sure. This is where your logic is flawed again, right? It's not as if there are like 1 million pencil makers within the U.S. and then you're grabbing pencil makers from other countries and then it's diluting the pool so much so that those 1 million pencil makers can no longer make pencils. What's actually happening is that there's like 100,000 pencil makers, but we need 200, 300, 400,000 pencil makers. And so they're bringing those pencil makers in to supplement the gap that we already have. See, that's the problem. It's not that they're coming in and taking these jobs away from people that need those jobs, is that we don't have enough people to fulfill those jobs. That's why we have to import those people.
But wouldn't you see all the pencil makers all the people going to university for pencil making get jobs right when they graduate? But we don't see that.
We're not investing in pencil makers. That's my original point. Like, we're not doing things to actually drive people towards making pencils. If we were actively doing
you think we're like short on coders?
Yeah.
Dude.
I think there's a lot of people trying to code, but overall, as far as like whether we talk about SQL, Python, was it A+, like all of these certain certifications, they're hard to get. They take a lot of time, and then once you actually gain access to those, then you get snatched up by these FANG companies, right? Like, and you have a circulation of certain people who get these certifications, who get these degrees, who have these access, and they circulate back and forth between these FANG companies because once you get in, you don't leave. And if you do leave, it's for an exorbitant amount to work outside of it. So like what you're saying is not true.
Well, why do only 23% of STEM grads work in STEM? And it's not a talent issue. Talent my ass. No talent my ass. Yeah. What the hell?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
If only 23% of STEM students are getting jobs, why is it? And H-1Bs are taking up a lot of these. It's not a fucking skill issue.
No, it's not. What happens is a lot of people don't
apply
their actual degrees to the fields that they actually they get degrees and they don't apply said degrees to their field. Like, I have multiple degrees, right? And the only degree that I've actually received that directly connected to my job was my second MBA, right? Like, that's it. Everything else outside of that, like, I had no direct correlation between any job that I've ever had. And so people do that all the time. So just because you actually get a STEM degree doesn't mean that you're directly going to go into that field.
Yeah, but like STEM, these students are like really dedicating their lives. Like STEM is like,
they're
it's like highly specialized.
But you know what's so wonderful about having degrees? It's just like having, you know how I just mentioned like working for FANG companies. right? Once you can say that I work for Microsoft, I work for Meta, I work for, you know, Amazon, you put that on your resume and you immediately become attractive to everyone. And not only do you become attractive to everyone, you become attractive to every field, because now everyone's trying to capitalize on the adjacent work that you provide. So they literally grab these people from all over and they end up pigeonholing, I won't say pigeonholing, but they give them positions that aren't directly connected with the degree that they have, just because they want these people within their companies, especially like legacy companies, like especially companies that are part of like the, not even screw the, you know, S&P 500, like the S&P 50, right? Those ones that are not the fangs, they want to grab these people and they want to put them in like executive roles and like leadership roles and all this other stuff. So like this happens because they want them to actually be able to invest in the future.
But like, you don't acknowledge like any of the fraud at all that goes on with the H-1B when it comes to like them like abusing the loophole.
Talking about fraud, you hadn't even mentioned fraud. Now you shifting the goalposts.
Well, no, H-1B, like when it comes like monetary fraud, I'm saying fraud as in they're not high skilled, right? Like I saw there were H-1B visa applicants for golf coaches in Florida, or like 7-Eleven cash registers. Let's not to say that there's people, no.
But let's not pretend like people
there's no
don't
golf
get into the country
in Florida
who don't actually deserve. Like Melania Trump came into the country on a genius visa. On a genius visa, Melania.
If all
Trump,
the immigrants looked like Melania Trump, I wouldn't have much of an issue with it.
Come
honestly.
on,
honestly,
now you're just being a pig. Don't do
dude. She is.
Don't do that. Now you're being a pig.
Well, let me tell you, if they were all Slovenian supermodels, your entire woman chat would be against. They would turn into the SS.
No, but see now,
pro ice. Like absolutely, that's true.
Tucker, now this is fucked up because now you're reducing women down to their physical appearance versus the actual substance of what they provide, and that's fucked up. While I am not saying that Melania Trump isn't a quote-unquote supermodel, obviously she is, but also what I'm saying is that by her own quote-unquote merit, she supposedly got in on the genius visa, but we haven't seen her apply that in any way, shape, or form, and she didn't have any qualifications prior that would make her acceptable for the genius visa. Stop talking about women like that. That's gross.
Well, I mean, I just said models are hot.
You said that if all immigrants coming into the country looked like her, were Slovenian supermodels, then it would be okay.
Would any men have an issue with that? What man would have an issue with that? Seriously.
Yes, because not every single man. Yes, because not every single.
I mean, gay guys, maybe. Yeah.
First and foremost, hey, we're not gonna do that. You are not gonna go gay bashing on my live. Like seriously, stop.
I'm not bashing. I'm just saying, like Slovenian supermodels. Everyone loves them.
Hey, is that Tucker? Stop. Absolutely stop it right there. Seriously, stop. Stop. The point that I'm making is, one, I'm married, so I don't care if supermodels are coming into the country or not. That has nothing to do with me. So two, I care about the actual substance of the people that are coming into our country. If we're not bringing people into our country that's actually going to benefit our country, then we have a bigger problem. We lack the actual people that we need. And so allowing people to come into our country is a massively positive thing. Like trying to downplay that in any other way, shape, or form is like, out of here. Stop it. W's in the chat for Marie for the $1.11. Hey, Marie, donation say it seems like it's even worse in 2009. But I got an art degree. So what do I do? So I heard Line Brothers with fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, founded in 1914. Blue Phi. You know, W's in the chat for Kelton for the $2 super chat. I'm sorry, $2 donation saying 6 always get salty when 8 and 9 walk into the room. You're right about that. You're absolutely right about that. W's in the chat for let's see here, Betty. Betty sent a $2 Canadian super chat to say, why is this jumping around here? Tucker won't let you finish like his girlfriend. Dang it, you guys are on Tucker's neck. W's in the chat for XX.
But I can't say Slovenians are hot. That's crazy.
Yeah, who sent a $4.99 super chat to say 43 to 42% of college graduates will not use their degree. What do you say to those people? Exactly. That was the point that I made. W's in the chat for 123 who sent a $10 super chat to say, seems like they don't want to compete, which is why they didn't give black people rights or education. Now they want to do the same things with immigrants. America is the land of opportunity for all. Exactly. Like literally, that's the reason why we don't have free higher education today. It's because black people start getting degrees. And W's in the chat for I think it's pronounced Elzara, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat to say Tucker is off slightly, which happens with the averages. My source of the U.S. Bureau of Statistics, if we take all of the ITs, it races about 49,500. I'm assuming you mean a year. I would love to take a look at that. I mean, again, I'm sure there's some type of actual study or source that we can lean on. I just wanted to actually be able to see it so we can talk about it from a place of intelligence versus, fifis. W's in the chat for Damo, who sent a $1.99 super chat to say, Coder here. It requires USA to gaff about science. Oh, give a fuck. GAF about science. That's my entire point. They have to actually GAF in order to actually do this. Guys, W's in the chat for all the donors. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana is the best way to support the live. Everything's accepted, anything's appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Also, guys, keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 200,000 likes. And last but not least, hit that follow button. Look up at the top. If you see the word follow, you're not following me. Hit that follow button and follow the main account as well. Follow both accounts. Follow both accounts because you know what? I might do a BOGO. I might be live again today with more debates. And if I do, it's going to be on this account. So make sure you're following both of them. Also, W's in the chat for Marie for the $5.55 donation. Say, just tell Tucker he's a primo douchebag. Ew. Dang it. Also, W's in the chat for Samantha, who sent a $5 donation saying, you, Parker, and Dean are my daily dose of hope. Thank you, as always. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Tucker, listen, my chat is not really feeling you.
Well, that's because I insulted them about the supermodel thing. I told them they turned into SS Nazis if they would.
Nazis. Look, listen. I'm just giving you a heads up. Like, you cross the line one more time, you cross the line one more time, we might have to put a bounty on your head. I mean, they will take you out. Just
whoa.
I'm just letting you know.
You're saying that in this climate, in this political climate with Charlie Kirk?
Listen, sometimes the chat demands pay to kick. Like, they will scream for it. So just FYI,
fair enough.
Reel it in.
Bounty on my head, though. Jeez.
Yeah, come on. A little light work. Anyway, help me with this, Tucker. So let's get to the crux of it, because I saw people saying in the chat, and
we can move on.
I don't think I disagree. Like, they're saying that you're xenophobic.
Well, I mean, if that just means like protecting American workers, and yeah, it probably goes a little farther than that. Like, I wouldn't call me xenophobic, but we can shut the borders down. Like, I'd take that deal. Yeah, it's like, sure. Because you're going to have to be called names to deport people. Honestly, if you're going to do a massive deportation of like 40 plus million illegals, they're going to call you some names.
Illegal people.
Republicans can't deal with
illegal.
That.
Not even illegal people, undocumented. Like, come on, man. Why do you keep dehumanizing people? Like, that's a whole problem with you.
That's unintentional. You've been called Republicans. That's just how I've been calling them. Sure,
you've been saying illegals. You've been saying Indians. You've been saying what else did you say? You said something else. I've had to correct you on. Talking about like supermodels. Like, you keep dehumanizing people. Like, stop it. That's weird. Anyway. You being xenophobic is not going to get the border shut down, but like, you being xenophobic.
No. What I'm saying is, like, if you were going to carry out a full scale deportation like Trump wants to, they will call you and everyone who supports it xenophobic. And like, yeah, you're probably just gonna have to deal with that. Well,
but Donald Trump has already gotten the Supreme Court to racial profiling, right? Like, they've already gotten the green light for profiling. No, literally, it was a court ruling. Like, literally, the Supreme Court said that ICE could actually racially profile.
It works. I mean, obviously the illegals are going to be a different.
It's not working. It's not working. Stop calling people illegals. Last time, serious, Tucker.
Oh, jeez. That's just what we called them forever. That's
undocumented.
Not my
Undocumented. That's fine, but like you're not stupid. You know, you can say like
so literally I can correct myself, but like it's just been rolled. That's something I would
at least
never.
While you're here up here with me,
it's just like that's what. Okay. Even Joe Biden. Joe Biden called him that right during the debate.
W's in the chat for Cat. Cat sent a $25 donation. Said, "Tell Tucker, quiet, piggy." That was Cat. Cat said
that was funny. That was funny.
I mean, I think it's funny in this. W's in the chat.
It's funny when they say it to me, but not to the reporter.
Donation and said, "Kick the F out of Tucker." Ooh.
Oh.
I'm telling you, they're calling for it. W's in the chat for Junior, who sent a $1 donation saying his mediocre showing. It's below average. Like I bet many things.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm not holy. That's cold, Junior. That's cold. He said many things are below average for you. I didn't say that. That's what Junior said. W's in the chat for the donors. Also, W's in the chat for Lavender for the $1 donation saying he's a white privilege POS. Whew.
Damn.
Listen, they do not like you.
A white POS.
Does not like you.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what they said. Guys, if anyone else like support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links and link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Serious question. Like, why is it that you think that, like, with actually stopping people from coming in the country, we already understand like there's an issue with the birth rate, right? There's an issue with the birth rate in like almost every country. And the reason why these countries that are not having the same amount of issues like the United States is because of immigration. Like clearly we don't have the ability to continue to repopulate the country the way that we need to. And so why shouldn't we accept those people coming into the country? Like that doesn't make sense to me.
I just think there are some consequences for saying, well, we have a low birth rate. These people have a really high birth rate. Let's just bring all these people in. Oh, I mean, bringing
a white country anymore.
It's going to look a lot different. Yeah. And the people that you're bringing aren't exactly coming from like great places, right? Like they're not, they're not, you know, Mrs.
We should
Trump.
have a white Christian country.
That's far gone,
Come
dude.
on. Answer the question, Tucker.
That's unrealistic. That would never happen.
Do you think that's what we should have? I'm not saying
no, because it's unrealistic. That's what it was designed to be, but it's changed, obviously.
It absolutely was not. Absolutely not.
Read the Federalist too, John Jay.
Yeah, I've read the Federalist Papers.
Okay, what's it say about race? What does John Jay say about race in the Federalist too?
Hold on. You have to acknowledge what I said. You have to acknowledge what I said. A white Christian country.
Yeah. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I think it should be a Christian country. But we're obviously multi-ethnic now.
Why should we be a Christian country? Like, why in the world should we base our country on a religion that is widely been harmful, weaponized, who has like literally stopped progression throughout the course of history? And it's something that like our country was not founded on Christianity. Our country was founded on the freedom of religion.
No, we brought the cross to the New World. I mean,
our country
so like anywhere where the cross goes,
literally founded on the freedom of religion, and multiple founders of ours were deists.
Yeah, multiple, not a majority though. Read Federalist too. What's it say?
Again.
I'm just reading what they wrote. Even though I can just, I'm just saying this is not what I want. This is what happened. This is what they wrote. No, I can just read.
Just because
I can read, don't blame me. Don't shoot the messenger.
No, just because
the founders. Just because the founders wanted.
But you're negating the ones that weren't. You're like
which ones didn't? Which one explicitly said we shouldn't have this?
They put it in the Constitution.
What?
The separation of church and state, ensuring that the actual church, no matter what the religion, would not have an impact on our actual governmental system. And so,
you know what they were talking about?
A Christian country, separation of church and state, bud.
Dude, you can still be a Christian country without having like a state church that has influence over laws, right? That's what they were talking about. So there's different interpretations of this. When you say separation of church and state, that means we can never mention Christianity or have any single law influenced by Christianity ever.
That means secular country. So, that means we're a secular country that should not be governed or guided by the actual church.
Yeah, there's one interpretation. Or there's one interpretation that says,
what do you mean? The interpretations from?
these are what the founders meant, right? So there were state churches at the time.
Where are you getting those interpretations from?
Yeah, history, right? So at the time of
specifically, where in history?
Okay, so there were state churches in each colony, right? And they actually had influence over the laws that were being made. Okay. And they didn't even have an issue with that, right? Their issue was with a church that had influence on the federal level, like a federal church, like a Vatican, like a Catholic type rule where the church would step over or even be on the same level as our congressmen, which we've never seen nor anyone advocates for. That's the interpretation, because that's what they believed, right? Have you never heard this before? Have you ever heard this? Is this like the first? Am I the first person telling you this?
It's not.
Okay, there you go.
It's not. But
this is what they thought.
The part. Hold on. The part that always trips you all up when you say this is, where are you actually getting this verifiable information from? Like,
there were state churches at the time. They had
I'm not talking about state churches. I'm talking about, you cited the Federalist Papers multiple times.
Oh yeah, we can just use our brain if we say. If we go by your definition.
No.
No using brain, no thinking, chat. No,
Tucker,
thinking,
now you're applying your logic to what the founders said versus actually going off what they said.
No reading what they said and thinking about it. That's wrong.
No.
What is it?
You're making insinuations. Tucker, you're literally sitting here saying, well,
what does every single Supreme Court judge do when they're reading the documents?
Exactly, but not. Are you a Supreme Court judge?
So I can't. Only Supreme Court judges can think. What is that your argument?
Whose job is it to interpret the Constitution?
Whose job is it?
Yes. I'm sorry. Which branch of the government is supposed to interpret the Constitution?
Yeah, I just said it. Judicial.
Exactly. So and that's my point. So like, we can sit here and say, well, I think this or I think that, but without.
But would you go to them and say, so only they're allowed to think? That's what you're saying?
No, it's not about thinking. It's about,
so you can't think either. No thinking for you either.
But hold on, no.
Keep your standard.
Have they actually have they had any cases to do with the separation of church and state?
Have they ruled on that ever? I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, and so what I'm saying is that even with you trying to actually make a determination and saying, oh, this is what they probably meant, I think they meant, this is what they actually meant, like, this has actually been something that has been legislated in the court of law.
I never said this is what I think they meant. I said this is what it means, because if you said, Wait, you said church, if a church influences a state, would that influence church and state?
Stop. W's in chat for Marie for the $1.11 donation saying, smart people don't like me. Donald Jessica Trump. Of course, Tucker likes him. Ooh. Also, W's in the chat for
got me good.
Marie, who sent a $1.11 donation saying, Thomas Paine wrote The Age of Reason, which was an anti-Christian. Thomas Jefferson denied that Jesus was divine. Benjamin Franklin was an open
deist. All heretics. I know.
Ethan Allen was one as well. John Adams liked to admire Jesus, but rejected the divinity. Exactly. Also, W's in the chat for Khalees for the $1 donation saying, this country wasn't built on Christianity. Christian values. Our forefathers came here seeking freedom to practice their specific religion.
They brought the cross.
Exactly, because some of them were Christians. But again, the point is they were literally trying to practice religion freely without being forced into anything. That's the point.
Yeah, because they're wasps.
Guys, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. Best way to support the live. Everything's accepted, anything's appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Also, if you're a Trump supporter, get in the box. Please do not request up if you're not a Trump supporter. We're only looking for some debates. If you are a friendly in the box that's hoping to talk to Tucker for some reason, please drop out. Please drop out. We're not doing friendlies. We're only looking for some debates. Yeah, you know what? I think they do. And with that being said, chat, really quick, should we start a kick fund for Tucker? Put a 3 in the chat if it's a yes. Put a 5 if it's a no. 3 to kick Tucker, yes. 5 for no. 3 kick fund, yes. 5 no. You got to wait. We got to see if they want it. 3 if you guys want to start a kick fund. 5 if you don't.
3.
Okay. That's a lot of threes. All right, guys.
I put a 3 as
well. You know how we do. Kick fund is $100 to kick. And so that's where we go. So if we get $100 total, then we can get Tucker up out of the paint. So if you decide that you guys want Tucker gone, you can do so. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. All right.
I could hook you up
That
right
being
now and
said-
just start saying like super inflammatory shit. So they kick me off
No,
and
because
get your
then I would
$100.
kick you myself. Like no,
Oh,
no,
but you don't
I
get your
want you to be
100.
disingenuous.
I'll get you your
it's
free
not
money.
about that.
I want to help you.
It's
I want to
not-
help you out.
Yeah, hold on, stop. It's that one, being honest, Trump supporters are super scared, so it's hard to actually get anyone up that's not crashing out and willing to have a debate. But two, like sometimes the chat wants people gone. And I want to give them the option, but it's kind of hard to just allow them just to kick people all the time, because I promise you, if I did this every time, they would just be kicking everyone because all of you guys suck. So, and three, if you just purposely say that you're going to do like this weird stuff so that, they can, pay or whatever, I'll kick you myself and reject anything that they send over. That's not what we do here. So just FYI. Anyway.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Yeah. With that being said, I really want to actually come.
But
to
we
a
could change the
conclusion
topic to something that could help you out. Like you did want to talk about like Nick Fuentes or something. You want to spin it back to that?
No, fuck Nick Fuentes.
Well, no.
Talk about him. What I really want
Not
to
fuck him. He's a good guy.
No, he's not. He's a neo-Nazi POS.
Nah, he's a great Christian man with a lot to say. Don't say fuck
really
him.
Not.
Fuck you.
No, he's really not, and he's not even smart. Like you know what bothers me, right? Because I've been up here having a conversation with you.
Who do you think smarter, him or Dean?
Dean, not even close. Not even close.
Dude, he does his geography.
Wait.
Nick does.
Hold on.
Nick knows every country in the world and every capital. He can do it off the top of his head. Every country
Who gives a
in the
fuck about
fucking
him
world on the map.
memorizing stuff? Him memorizing.
Wait,
stuff.
if you have
Listen,
amazing recall, he can recall any book that he read.
I have total recall, depending on what
No, you
I'm
don't.
trying to recall.
You do not have good recall.
Literally do. But this is the point. When you talk
What's the
about
capital of
people, what I said, stop. When you talk about your question, right? When you said who's smarter, like I personally know Dean, like personally, and I know how intelligent.
I'm not sure what that has to do with IQ.
If you stop,
But you don't know
bro,
Nick.
if you stop yapping for like 2 seconds, you would literally be able to hear what I'm saying. Right? That's the point. Gotta stop yapping. Anyway, I personally know him, and I know how intelligent he is as a person. I know him on an individual basis, but I've also, prior to me knowing him, consumed his information, consumed his actual content, and I actually have learned multiple things from him. I've listened to Nick Fuentes over and over and over because I've actually created different forms of content related to the things that he said. And while some of the wild shit that comes out of his mouth, I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I'm agreeing with him. He's not smart. He's literally not, which makes it even more like, I don't understand when, like, I can understand other people, but you seem like a moderately intelligent person. And it doesn't make any fucking sense why people who
Have you watched the
have,
show?
Yes, literally.
Well, all of his calls were amazing. Imagine if you made like a 50-1 call and then you did it 5 times in a row, and it was all political skill based. Like he said, JD Vance was going to be the president or the vice president. Guess what the betting odds were when he said that? 35-1. He said we were going to strike Iran. He was the.
Let me guess. Hold on. Well, you guys were not playing when you said F him. Holy smokes. Chat, you guys were not playing. Not even a little bit. Holy smokes. W's in the chat for Roberto, who sent a $5 donation saying, kick him. I'm over his false Christian talk. Exactly. W's in the chat for L for the $5 donation saying for the kick.